Can restrictions placed only on Chinese travelers stop the virus from spreading? Or are they just part of a political show? I'm Sina. Welcome to Factstyle. On December 26, China further optimized its inbound and outbound measures for managing COVID-19. Since January 8, all international travelers to China only need to take a nucleic acid test 48 hours before departure. If the test is negative, they can travel to China directly without applying for a health code from the country's missions abroad. China's measures apply to travelers from all countries and treat both Chinese and foreigners equally. However, the US, the UK, France, Italy, India, Australia, Japan, South Korea, and other countries have imposed restrictions on travelers from China only, requiring them to obtain a negative COVID-19 test before departure. It is clear to those with at least a little medical knowledge that the pandemic situation is still serious in many parts of the world. The Omicron subvariants that are most prevalent in China, BA.5.2 and BF.7, have already been overtaken by more transmissible subvariants in Western nations. So, screening passengers from China only and no other countries will help a little in terms of preventing the spread of the virus. That's why this discriminatory move against China has sparked an outcry internationally. European health officials called screenings and restrictions on travelers from China unjustified. The European Center for Disease Prevention and Control, short for ECDC, said earlier last week that the pandemic situation in Europe won't be impacted by a high number of cases in China due to high population immunity on the continent, and the variants circulating in China have been already circulating in Europe. Dominic Costa-Loyola, a French epidemiologist, told AFP that testing arrivals from China seems little more than a communication exercise, adding that it is not very useful apart from giving the impression that they were doing something. Many experts even believe the introduction of mandatory COVID-19 screenings of travelers from China will create more problems in reality. Preben Eversland, a subject director of the Norwegian Institute of Public Health, told the media that the rule for travelers from China alone will draw resources from more important work. Some people even worry that the measures will fuel the already severe racial problems in the US. As the New York Times article pointed out, without a universal testing, contact tracing, and masking mandates, selective reinforcement by geographic origin succeeds only in singling out the predominantly Chinese travelers and reviving rampant anti-Asian hate. In the US, a winter tripledemic, troubling reports of debilitating long COVID symptoms and multiple reinfections have done little to influence policy. But as soon as China reopened to the world, the administration mobilized. South Korea even did it rather dramatically. Apart from requiring a test result, the authority requires travelers from China to take a test upon arrival. These passengers are handed a yellow sign that must be hung around their necks and can't be held in their hands. Then army officers will lead these passengers to retrieve their baggage, do the tests, and lock them up in a room to await the results. Mandatory COVID-19 screenings for Chinese travelers wrongly shifts people's focus from facing a much more imminent danger. For example, the emerging Omicron subvariant XBB.1.5 with documented immune-evasive properties has become the most prevalent strain in the US, accounting for 40% of all reported cases. But this hasn't triggered the nationwide mask mandates or alarm either. The subvariant has appeared in France and other European countries as well. Paul Hunter, professor of medicine at the UK's University of East Anglia, pointed out that the main future concern for the UK at present is the XBB.1.5 variant, which was probably introduced into the UK from the US and is now increasing. If some countries really worry about variants and the spread of COVID through travel, according to Dr. Lucky Chuan from Irving Medical Center at Columbia University, they should require negative results for all travelers, no matter where they come from, Beijing or New York, and reinstate the mask mandate for public transportation. Indeed, the focus should be on tackling the virus rather than politicizing it. The last thing we need is a public health theater, described by Professor Abersland as where politicians act busy, introducing measures that look like they're doing something, but which are in fact nothing. That's it. Thanks for watching. If you like our show, please remember to click like and subscribe. I'm Saina. I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.